Hi, and welcome back to Wisdom Talks with Yasmin Ann. And again, I'm at the Center for Spiritual Living in Yucca Valley, California. And this talk is called The Voice of Truth. Well, where does the voice of truth come from anyway? You might do a quick scan at the layers of words, the communication or lack of, that seem important. Perhaps thinking about the communication, relationships, and other situations where you felt you were speaking your truth. But then you find yourself at a much deeper level within, and therein lies the truth. Some spoken with words that have twisted meanings because by the time it is filtered through your mind, the truth may no longer be the words you intended. All the filters such as fear of someone else's reaction and all the what-ifs shift your truthful words to fit that particular situation. We communicate on a daily basis from a part of our consciousness that has developed patterns so that we can respond and have a quick flow of communication between us. But have you ever had a conversation with someone or a group, and then you went home and you're relaxing, having your tea or coffee, and all of a sudden, this slew of thoughts about what you should have said or didn't say just fill your mind. And depending on the situation, can leave you with an awkward feeling, sort of unfinished or incomplete exchange of energy because you didn't speak your truth. Well, it's not an easy task trying to determine if the words we speak is the truth. The ego also gets involved trying to protect us. So with all the filters that come with a lifetime of experience embedded in our minds, and our ego taking a frontline position, the truth can be distorted. What if we spoke our truth, and I mean from the deepest level within? What would that scenario look like? Okay, let me clarify. I don't mean when someone asks if they look good in that outfit that, you disapprove and you say, that looks horrible. After all, it's all about perception, right? It may look good to them or to others as well, but remember that commercial, Twix it over? Anyway, I'm talking about situations that are life-changing. Situations that are life-changing. Like feeling a deep hurt or feeling unloved because of someone else's action. Things that can change the course of your life and perhaps others around you as well. Rather than allowing that energy to fester and do damage physically, spiritually, and emotionally, because that is exactly what happens when energy is stuck and not allowed to move freely. Wouldn't it be best to find the right time and space to communicate with that person from your heart, from the voice of truth? Words shared with a desire to create growth for both parties. Easier said than done, right? Because speaking our truth and getting a positive response is all dependent upon the other party. And this is where fear arises, and we either don't share or we twist our truth to appease other people. Thinking about the importance of energy and motion, I was reminded once when I was on a flight all buckled in and the captain announced, "You're now free to move about the cabin." I had a feeling of relief physically, mentally, and spiritually. Well, yes, it's kind of like that when energy can just move freely. I have an affinity and love for children, and that is from my voice of truth. When my oldest granddaughter was 4, she looked closely at my face and joyfully said, "Grandma, you have cracks in your face." Well, I laughed so hard that all the cracks in my face became visible. I even actually appreciated her truth because it was as she saw it. because I could now see that the cracks in my face were from laughing. It was a positive thing. I felt the same way when she said, "You have polka dots on your legs. Can I have some?" Well, children don't have this filter that we adults have. So they speak their truth and they just move on. I am sure it was a child that pointed out, "The emperor has no clothes." So why are we accepting or more comfortable when children say it as they see it, and we're ready to retaliate when an adult speaks their truth? Well, this is a question I pose to you because it depends on your own personal filters. What if we gave ourselves permission to not only speak our truth, but also acknowledge the truths about ourselves? I think that one's worth repeating. What if we gave ourselves permission to not only speak our truth, but also acknowledge the truths about ourselves that we may have been downplaying? I do believe it would truly catapult us forward in our growth and our spiritual path. We are at a time in history where facing our truths and perhaps speaking them is crucial. I know that this idea goes against everything we have come to believe about how we express ourselves, good manners, etiquette, etc. I have stood here along with others who spoke about the importance of being and speaking from a place of love. But does it mean we can't speak from the voice of truth? Is not the voice of truth from our hearts anyway? Yes, there is a time and place for everything. And when we use our intuition to guide us in speaking our truth, our words will be well received and assist both you and the receiver in shifting to a higher level of consciousness. We can actually help others grow by sharing from the voice of truth and from our hearts with good intentions. There was a life situation that taught me a big lesson about speaking my truth and acting upon it. My brother was, and I believe still is, a drug addict, and after my parents passed away, I felt an obligation to continue to help him by driving him to therapy, taking him from one halfway house to another, because he always had an excuse why things didn't work out. After about 2 years of helping him and believing he would change, I found myself stressed and tired. I love how the truth can come from someone and somewhere where you least expect. On one occasion, I had dropped my brother off at yet another halfway house, and I heard a voice in the background that was just strong and assertive say, "Stop helping your brother. You are enabling him." I immediately knew those words to be true, but I needed to hear it from someone who had been down that road. This ragged-looking man, full of tattoos, had changed my life by telling me the truth. I could now let go with love and begin to take care of myself. The spiritual train is no longer a slow, coal-burning train, but one moving at a high speed, and we're all being given the opportunity to be who we are at the deepest level. It is time to follow the will of your soul and exercise your leadership spirit by speaking and living your truth. You're not here to prove yourself to others, but to approve of yourself. Know that the universe supports you when you're being the honest soul that you are. So should we be childlike and say it as we see it? Maybe not. But we should always find a way to listen to that voice of truth and speak from a place of love and compassion that is highest good for all parties in that situation. I believe that if we continue to improve on our own spiritual path, we will arrive at a place where the truth will set us free. Here are some bullet points to remember. Just wanted to share 3 or 4 of these with you. When sharing your truth, always speak from your heart. And number 2, just take a breath. Look at how your sharing might help a situation. Number 3, when you're the receiver, just be aware of your reaction. As long as words are shared lovingly, be open. Number 4, just acknowledge your own truths about yourself and continue to change the things that need changing. It begins with you. Life is too short not to express yourself and live from your highest good. I'd like to share a couple of quotes with you now. One is from Ernest Holmes, which says, as he learns the truth will automatically set him free. And another one from Spencer Johnson. It says, integrity is telling myself the truth, and honesty is telling the truth to other people. And here's one from Warren Wiersbe. Truth without love is brutality, and love without truth is hypocrisy. And I just wanted to end with this affirmation. And it's something that you can do when you sit in meditation or as you walk through your day, just repeat this affirmation. My mind is filled with thoughts that bring love, light, and truth to my life. I am filled with the love of the universal divine truth. Thank you.